Right now, as street crews work to limit their salt use to protect the environment, a UW-Madison expert is collecting visual evidence just how big a problem it is.
And a judge rules the state's elections commission will have to pay a daily fine for not removing hundreds of thousands of voter names from the rolls.
Plus, a bill at the Capitol looking to require new buildings to limit the potential exposure to radon.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
Thanks for joining us tonight. Streets crews are done plowing main roads in Madison, but they are planning to head out again tomorrow morning.
Now, there's a chance for some light snowfall overnight. Let's check your first alert forecast now. Meteorologist Dana Fulton. Dana?
Right now, things are pretty quiet for most of southern Wisconsin. Looking to the west, though, we do have a little light snow starting to creep into parts of Minnesota and Iowa. The snow is going to build on in once we get after midnight. Plan on that light snow continuing into early Tuesday morning. It may mix with a little freezing drizzle, though, for areas south of Madison. So some ice may be a concern for the start of Tuesday. But by the time you're heading to the roads, you should be just fine getting on through. So the type, again, this is light snow and freezing drizzle. Timing comes through around midnight, but ending early on Tuesday. And snow totals will remain under an inch. Still, we're going to keep a close eye on those rural routes and untreated spots for tomorrow morning. We'll take a closer look at your next chance for some snow to come on through. That full forecast in just a few minutes.
A reminder from the city of Madison to clear your sidewalks. You have until noon tomorrow before you get a citation. Last year, the city gave out nearly 800 citations to people who did not follow the rules. That's a $124 ticket for the first citation, $187 for the second, and the prices only increase from there. For a list of rules, you can head over to our website, channel3000.com. City of Madison streets crews will resume plowing on residential roads tomorrow from 7 a.m. until 3. They are asking residents to find off-street parking and avoid leaving things out on the curb that can slow down their progress. Crews will continue using salt only on limited routes to protect our groundwater and lakes.
And city and county crews are constantly trying to find a balance between using enough salt to keep the streets safe, but not too much to do extra harm to the environment.
After this weekend's snow, followed by rain chances later this week, the salt will now quickly end up in our lakes. Amanda Quintana is here with more on the effort to cut back.
Yes, we've known about salt's harmful impacts on our waterways for a long time, but while our city and county crews have been making an effort to use less salt, the amount of salt in our lakes keeps increasing.
A salt chunk about this size is enough to pollute 1 gallon of water or more.
It's become a bit of a hobby for Hillary Dugan to collect these salt rocks found around Madison.
So when we have these big chunks, really all they're being effective at is polluting our water.
She even created the hashtag oversalting contest, the movement in Madison spreading across the country, all in an effort to educate, showing just how bad this salt is for our waterways.
We put about 500 tons a year into Lake Mendota in an average winter. It's gone from a background concentration of about 1 milligram of salt per liter to about 50. So it's about 50 times higher than it was back in the 1940s.
Local municipalities have been taking notice. There's still a push to get homeowners and private contractors on board.
Basically, for your entire driveway, you probably should only be using about a cup of salt, so like a coffee mug full of salt. And you should be, taking 1 scoop and applying it to your whole driveway versus, taking a bag and throwing it all down.
Madison street crews have been doing their part to limit salt use.
When we put salt down, it's going to be at a maximum of 300 pounds per lane mile. So if you imagine 6 50-gallon bags of salt, that's what's going to be per mile of traffic lane, what gets put down at most.
But Brian Johnson says finding that balance is difficult when salt is really the only tool that works.
In the wintertime, the calls that we get are like, oh, we're not using enough salt, the roads are terrible. And then in the spring, you've used too much salt, everything's terrible, look what you're doing to the water.
Although the practices are improving, Dugan says the salt levels in our lakes are still increasing, and the city is growing.
So even if we're decreasing how much salt we're using per lane mile, if we have more lane miles, that can be challenging.
The City of Madison is also hosting salt certification training for both its streets crews and private contractors. In the last 2 years, they've trained hundreds of people to responsibly use the right amount of salt. If you want to learn how, you can visit wisaltwise.com.
All right, Amanda, thank you.
New video now from the Port of Milwaukee, where high winds, towering waves, and flooding caused millions of dollars in damage. The weather on Saturday forced the port to prohibit public access to Jones Island and caused flooding on all major roadways there. The port's director called it an unprecedented event and says the port's internal docks that are closed for the season sustained significant damage. Breaking news right now, a live look at a residential fire. This is in Evansville, the 300 block of West Liberty Street, west of South Madison Street. Multiple departments are on scene right now. Officials say the call for this fire came in at 4 o'clock this afternoon. It is a developing story. We'll have more at channel3000.com.
And just into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, the state Supreme Court will not consider the order to purge up to 209,000 voters from the rolls here in Wisconsin. On the same day, a Wisconsin judge has ordered the state's Elections Commission in contempt and ordered a $50 a day fine until the commission removes those names.
I can't be any clearer than this. They need to follow my order. They created this situation by disregarding the 30-day notice and on their own initiative, saying maybe 12 months or 2 years.
This comes after the judge ruled last month to remove voters to ensure people aren't voting from incorrect or old addresses. Protesters were in court today. They're disappointed with the ruling because they say it amounts to unlawful voter suppression. Community activists believe there are thousands of former prisoners across Wisconsin who have the right to vote, but they don't know it. They say those people could be a factor in the presidential election. A group of former prisoners is launching a statewide effort to register some 7,000 people before November. President Trump defeated Hillary Clinton in Wisconsin by fewer than 23,000 votes. So the state is a big factor in his re-election strategy.
And the president will hold a rally in Milwaukee tomorrow night. It's being hosted at the UW Milwaukee Panther Arena at 7 o'clock. That is the same time as the Bucks tip off against the Knicks, just 2 blocks away. The Bucks are now opening the doors at Fiserv Forum 30 minutes earlier than normal and asked guests to prepare for road closures in the area as well as severe traffic congestion. New at 6, state lawmakers are introducing a bill to require presidential or vice presidential candidates to pay debts from campaign rallies before they're allowed to permit to host another one in Wisconsin. That bill uses President Trump's $47,000 outstanding debt to the city of Eau Claire, a $9,000 debt to the city of Green Bay from rallies back in 2016 as examples for why this legislation is needed. The bill would also allow local governments to charge candidates in advance for costs related to police and sanitation services.
Sun Prairie has seen rapid growth in population, but little change in representation.
The city is considering restructuring its city council for the first time in decades. Gabriella Vaquera joins us now with a look at how it might look. Gabby?
When Sun Prairie became a city in 1958, it was separated into 4 districts of 1,000 people. And now after decades of growth, there's almost 10,000 people in each one. There are many ways the map could be redrawn, including by splitting the 4 double alderperson districts into 8 single alderperson districts. City Council President Bill Connors says this would make it easier for alderpersons to reach constituents.
You can't do it in between. It's like once every 10 years, this is your opportunity. So I wanted to make sure we paused and reflected on that and made an intelligent decision about whether now is the time or if we wait for 10 more years or 20 more years.
This opportunity only comes every 10 years when the census is done. A task force has been proposed to decide if change is needed and if so, determine how many districts Sun Prairie will consist of.
All right, Gabriella, thank you very much.
State Superintendent Carolyn Stanford Taylor will not run for a full term in 2021. She was appointed to office in January 2019 after Tony Evers left to become governor. She was Wisconsin's first black state schools superintendent. Stanford Taylor says she's making her decision public so others interested in the position have time to organize their campaigns. Her term ends in July of 2021. A UW researcher wants to make sure every new building in Wisconsin is proofed for radon.
He's going to ask legislators to make it happen. Amy Reed joins us now to explain what you need to know about these efforts. Amy?
Okay, so quick science lesson. Radon is colorless, odorless, and comes from uranium in the soil. It's also the 2nd leading cause of lung cancer in the U.S., and it's especially common in the Midwest. So how can you tell if it's in your home? You can't unless you test for it. But a researcher who works with cancer wants to make sure that even if you don't get around to that, you'll be protected from this deadly gas.
All right.
After picking up another round of radon test kits.
So I'm just putting these in, and then I'm going to make a few notes.
Lindsay Mefford can usually tell if levels are high.
Actually, it gives me a number. So they give us like a little snapshot right away. So right away, right now, I kind of know where we're at.
And new or old, basement or no, there's no real pattern to what she finds.
It doesn't matter. It's brand new construction, older house. Everyone should get a radon test done.
She's sort of our expert when it comes to radon. We talked to her and her husband Kirk for a story last year on radon in your kids' schools. Back then, there was next to no regulation on this deadly gas in Wisconsin. Now, meet Ryan.
It's very difficult to treat cancer, especially advanced lung cancer. And if we have ways to prevent cancer, that in a lot of cases may be the best way to go.
PhD, soon to be MD, as well as founder of the Wisconsin Radon Coalition. He's working with legislators to get 2 bills passed by the end of the session. One would require home sellers to hand out a pamphlet about the dangers of radon. The other would require construction on all new buildings, including schools, to use radon-resistant construction techniques like thicker gravel under the foundation and piping that would feed radon from the soil to above the roof.
The goal, the hope with these bills is that we're able to reduce and prevent these 500 deaths from radon-induced lung cancer every year in Wisconsin.
With the bill still circulating and a tight session ahead, he's not sure they'll make it through this time, but he says he'll keep trying, which is something the Meffords would like to see too.
That would just help people right away instead of finding out after living in your house for many years that you have high radon. It's a problem.
We reached out to the Buildings and Trades Council to get their take, but they said right now they don't know enough to comment.
Next at 6, we are looking ahead to Winter Restaurant Week. We'll have a preview of the Madison Magazine event that'll save you money at some of the finest local restaurants.
And there's more local news ahead as the Packers get ready for the NFC Championship game in San Francisco. We're asking a local travel expert about how much it would cost you to get there. That's tonight. News 3 Now at 10. Madison Magazine's Winter Restaurant Week is just around the corner. You can get a 3-course meal starting at $25 from some of the finest local restaurants. We have a list of 34 dishes to try at channel3000.com, along with a list of participating restaurants. Restaurant Week starts Sunday, and it'll run through Friday, January 24th. Madison Community Foundation announces more than $600,000 in grants to 22 nonprofits. The grants support organizations focused on learning, community development, arts and culture, and the environment. Some of the winners include the Foundation for Dane County Parks, Wisconsin Early Childhood Association, the Wilmar Neighborhood Center, the Children's Museum, and Monroe Street Arts Center.
This week, there's an opportunity to meet the 3 finalists for a Madison School District Superintendent. Each candidate will introduce themselves and answer questions on a separate night. Tuesday and Wednesday night sessions are at East High School. The Thursday night session is at La Follette High School. Those will also be live streamed on the school district Facebook page. You can find more details at mmsd.org/superintendent search. Madison fire officials say a swan rescued from the ice on Lake Mendota Sunday afternoon has died from extremely high lead levels in its blood. A statement from the Humane Society's Wildlife Center says volunteers started treatment right away, but the swan did not make it through the night. It goes on to say there is a silver lining. The swan died in a warm, quiet place instead of suffering in the cold. And removing the swan from the area prevented bald eagles from being exposed to another source of lead.
Wisconsin Elections Commission officials want to launch a campaign to reassure people that their vote will be secure. Tomorrow, staffers plan to ask for permission to spend $260,000 to develop website information, videos, news releases, and graphics. The campaign would be funded by a $7 million federal grant to bolster election security.
Coming up in sports, we'll hear from Packers head coach Matt LaFleur about how the team is preparing for the trip to San Francisco.
Plus, a chance for a dusting of snow overnight and some freezing rain. Dana with your first alert forecast coming up.
For first, fast, accurate weather updates, watch First Alert Weather.
Meteorologist Dana Fulton joins us now with a look at our forecast.
Right now we're kind of focusing in on that light snow chance for tonight. Well, it isn't going to bring a lot of accumulation. It's still going to make things a little slick to start off the day tomorrow, especially for the areas that'll be seeing some freezing drizzle come on through. So the active weather kind of continuing on. It doesn't seem like we're going to get a big break anytime soon. Almost every other day there's just something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. For tonight, again, the temperatures are going to hold on, stay pretty mild with this freezing rain coming through through a freezing drizzle and snow. And then for Tuesday, we're actually expecting temps to climb to the upper 30s. So a very mild afternoon for Tuesday. More accumulating snow will build in for Wednesday and Friday. So again, just almost every other day, we're watching some snow chances come through. The rest of your evening is going to be nice and quiet, starting to become mostly cloudy now, but the snow chance is really going to hold off until we get after midnight. It peaks early in the morning and then dies down before your morning commute. That gets us plenty of time to get the roads cleaned up, or any isolated spots that might need a little extra salt before folks get out on the roads early in the day. Still might want to plan ahead for a little extra time early on, as that light snow coming on in. Any snow coming through can make things a little slick outside. Right now it's off into Iowa and Minnesota. Much of southern Wisconsin just mostly cloudy. We don't have any precipitation currently. It's going to be building in the closer we get to midnight. So by about midnight, 12 o'clock, we have light snow for the western edge of the state. Strong breeze coming from the south. That's going to help our temperatures stay close to freezing for overnight lows. For areas south of Madison, we may see a little freezing drizzle mix in with that light snow. So some light glazing might be possible for early Tuesday morning. Tuesday afternoon is really going to eat away at the snowpack as we get partly sunny skies and high temperatures in the upper 30s. A little bit of melting. All that's going to refreeze, though, heading into Wednesday morning as temperatures drop into the 20s for overnight lows. On Wednesday, it seems likely to have some light snow developing throughout the day. A little rain possible along the Wisconsin-Illinois state line, where we'll see temperatures into the mid-low 30s for afternoon highs. That accumulation will mainly be above Madison. As you can see, the bulk of that snow coming to the north, but we might see some light accumulation for parts of Dane County and areas to the east. So for tonight, snowfall totals are really going to stay under an inch for most of southern Wisconsin. If you're hoping to see a little more accumulation, that's going to be north of the Dells towards La Crosse. Even Black River Falls might get closer to 2 inches, but trace amounts for the southeast corner of the state, and then for Madison on northwest, anywhere from 1/4 inch to 3/4 inch. Not a big event coming through, but enough that in the morning you'll definitely want to throw a little extra salt out. Just plan ahead for a little extra time with the broom to get things cleaned on up. Tonight we'll drop to about 30, mostly cloudy skies now with some light rain, light drizzle, and some snow developing right around midnight and for early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, high temperatures will be in the upper 30s. Our skies are going to become partly sunny in the afternoon, so with the sunshine and temps in the upper 30s, it's really not going to feel too bad outside for a January day. For Wednesday, we're expecting mostly cloudy skies. Some accumulation is possible with that snow, mainly north of Madison, though. For Thursday, it's going to be a little colder. We'll drop to the low 20s with partly sunny skies, and our next opportunity for accumulating snow will be Friday into Saturday. Friday, we'll see a little bit of rain first. That all transitions over to snow at night into Saturday morning. It's looking a little colder as we head into next week.
Well, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur didn't spend too long relishing in last night's win because playing in California hasn't exactly been the Packers' forte this season. So hopefully, third time's the charm. The story next in sports.
News 3.
All right, so I know Packers fans are still reveling in last night's win, but did you know head coach Matt LaFleur allowed himself just one entire hour to enjoy the win over the Seahawks, and then that was it? Because Packers, well, they have to figure this out. Not playing well in California thing, and really fast. Coach LaFleur has employed sports science people to research and study analytics on why they're so bad in California. So the travel schedule has been slightly tweaked, and they're going to keep things as routine as they can.
It is only a 2-hour time difference, and just all the study tells you that if we can keep it as normal as possible for our guys, that gives them the best chance to be at their optimal performance level.
Meanwhile, in Santa Clara, the 49ers aren't going to tackle anything Packers related until Wednesday. And how useful is film going to be from that Week 12 game where San Francisco won 37-8? Well, not much, according to head coach Kyle Shanahan. And Tramon Williams, he actually told me this last night, too. The Packers are a completely different team from November 24th.
That's definitely not the team we're going to see this week. I mean, everyone knows how good Green Bay is, how good their coaching staff is, how good their players are, how good their quarterback is. I don't think they've lost a game since then. So, I mean, I think that game really holds zero relevance in what's going to happen this Sunday.
Okay, so the Big Ten is either going to be really fun or one hot mess this year. Your choice of perspective here. So these are your top 6 teams here. But Michigan State, they lost to Purdue. Maryland, they got beat by Iowa, and the Boilermakers and Hawkeyes aren't even on this list here. Now, Illinois, we know this. They beat Wisconsin and Rutgers. So not to sound trite, rather, it really is anyone's year this year. The Badgers are very much part of that mix, but they've got to figure out a way to be consistent. And head coach Greg Gard says his players, well, they've come up with a way to do that. They have a little motto on how they're going to attack teams one at a time.
Learn it, burn it, and turn it. In terms of learn what you had here, now we got to burn it and then turn the page. And whether it was something really good at Ohio State, something not so good against Illinois, something really good against Penn State, we'll learn from what we did well and what we didn't do so well, and then take that next step to prepare for Maryland and not worry about, I won't look at one single second of film of Michigan State until well after tomorrow night.
So tomorrow night at 8 p.m. at the Kohl Center, we'll see if they learned, burned, and turned, guys.
All right. 3:30 in the morning you got back from Green Bay?
Yeah, I'm a little tired right now. I hope I look lovely.
You did fine. Dana, final check.
So we're looking at some light snow and freezing drizzle coming through tonight. For Tuesday, we'll start the day off. Nothing will be falling. It'll be mostly cloudy early in the morning, and then afternoon highs in the upper 30s with partly sunny skies later in the day. So that's going to cause a little bit of melting, and that's going to lead to some ice for Tuesday night into Wednesday as temperatures drop below freezing again. Some light snow possible for Wednesday. Temperatures stay close to average the rest of the work week.
Dana, thanks. Thanks for joining us. Producer now at 6.
Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.